Welcome to the Trashcats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
Today we got our freestyle episode. But first, how was your week, Steven?
My week's been chill, man. A little stressful, a lot going on, but overall doing pretty good. How about you?
I've been hitting my seasonal depression. Pretty rough. Not, when I say pretty rough, it's not, I feel like it's not as bad as a lot of people get depression. Mine is just an overwhelming sense of lack of motivation.
Yeah.
Like on Saturday, I was like hella tired and I just felt like sleeping all day and doing nothing, which isn't that wild for a Saturday lately. So, but then on Sunday, I just realized I was like, just wasn't there mentally. I just kind of checked out on a lot of, things that I had set for myself to do. It's been getting better. I think once I realize what it is, it at least makes it more manageable for me. It's like, okay, I need to set my expectations lower and deal with it, you know, in that way. But
I feel like as soon as you said that, I realized I lied. My week's been kind of shitty, and then yesterday and today were better, so I forgot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what, I always think about when, each week when we do this and when we talk about how our week was, I'm like, oh, it was whatever. It was a week. But it's like, and then I always think of afterward, like, oh, I didn't even think of all this other bullshit that happened or this other good thing that I could have mentioned or something like that.
That's a big thing. They say that in like fucking AA and sobriety shit all the time. Like saying you're fine or okay is like the first lie of the day kind of thing.
Yeah, it's an auto response.
Yeah, but it's one of those things I feel like with friends or like, with us, we're always very open about how that stuff is. But it's like, unless things were really bad, we're not going to like every time be like, oh, my week was absolute garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that we usually talk to each other, we text each other usually, every other day or something. So we keep in touch enough that it's, like I know I'd mentioned, on Monday or something about my depression this weekend.
Yeah.
Like I talked about it a little bit already.
Yeah. It's not the best intro to a podcast when you're like, oh, how was your week? And it's like, it was a living hell. I hated every moment.
Fucking sucked. I mean, that being said, though, I think it's important that, especially empathetic people that, like my main thing is like, I have this syndrome where, you want to complain about, like you have something going on in your life and you're like, oh, this was really shitty or this fucking sucks. And then you think like, well, other people got it worse and stuff like that. And it's like, I've learned that you just got to not think that because it's not fair to you. Yeah. In that, you got to put yourself, your problems are real problems because you're experiencing it and that's a problem.
Pain's relative.
Yeah. So it's like, I know it's like other people are having much shittier weeks than I am, but like relatively, I'm having a shitty week. Yeah. So, that's not completely true. I'm not having a shitty week, but my, it's one, people with, I feel like a lot of people with depression, well, I don't know if that's true. I was going to say a lot of people with depression, like they realize that they have depression, but that's not true at all. I think it's becoming more commonplace for people to know and understand what it means and what it is.
And then a lot of people have depression or aspects of depression, but it's not serious. There's like a mix. Like it's such a spectrum. You get a lot of people who think they really understand it because they are sad sometimes.
Right. And it's like that's not, it's like the sad part is such a, I think at least it is for me, it's like, it's such a minimal part of it. And I know that some people get a lot worse, that symptom of it much worse, but for me, it's just a strong, unwillingness, unexcited to do anything at all. Even if it's stuff that I was super excited for the day before, it's like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. I get the sadness part a lot, but it kind of comes and goes. Has the weather changed in Detroit?
Yes.
Because that helped me a lot, for sure.
The weather changing actually sucks for me. For some reason, I get my seasonal depression mostly in the springtime. So like as winter's turning into spring, is when it pops up for me.
That's weird.
And in Michigan, it could be, that segment of time could be 2 to 3 months of, it getting warm and then getting cold again and then getting warm and then getting cold again. And that transitional period is where I start to feel it. So when it goes back and forth like that, it's just like fucking me up.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, at least that's what I've noticed the last few years. Part of it, I had worse times with it when I worked in places that were, I wasn't seeing the light of day really, except, when I go to the, dumpster to take a smoke break or something. And then I'm just seeing concrete and garbage.
Yeah. Little trash life shit.
So that it was a lot worse then. And this winter's been pretty mild anyway, so it hasn't been awful. But there's always that. We have the 4 seasons in Michigan: our summer, pre-winter, winter, and post-winter.
Yeah,
post-winter, and that's the worst.
Yeah, I was doing some landscaping, like 2 days out of the last 5 or whatever, and the people I work for are family members who I didn't know were family members when I first met them, like kind of distant relative shit, and they own this big property that it feels like right now everything's still barren from winter, but the property feels like spirited away. Like it's got rolling hills with weird statues, and
nice.
Like during the day while I was working, they weren't tulips, but they looked just like them, and they like literally weren't there at the start of the day, and by the end of the day the sun made them all sprout and pop open.
Nice.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, man, I just love being outside. I think we mentioned it on here, but that's where that property is where the deers will follow my vape clouds.
That's cool.
They like smell the fruity stuff and they'll like follow me around the yard. There's like cats. I saw mice, cats, and deer. And it's just like one day. Like there's always something going on. And that particular place has helped me a lot. It's like a very calm, meditative spot to work, Nice.
Yeah. I've caught myself, I've, taken just trips around like my neighborhood and whatever when it gets bad. And like, I need to see trees. I need to see, some greenery of some sort.
Yeah.
And that usually helps. And I got a lot of sunshine on Monday. I went for a drive. I had a cigar that somebody gave me for Christmas.
Yeah.
I went out and smoked that and had my windows down and listened to some blues and had a good old time.
Ooh, that sounds nice. Yeah, dirt and blood we need more of in our daily life, Right. That's where it's at. What about what was I gonna ask you? Fuck it. Do you before we get too far into you got any honorable mentions for this week?
I do not.
Okay. Let's knock these out. So in the last couple weeks, I was doing some more hardcore art. We had some of the horror vibes. We had some eel shit. So I wanted to do a couple calm ones today. So that first link, if you want to check out, this is the artist Little Plastic Cats on Instagram. It's all one word. This person's name is Joshua, and I've known this person for like at least 5-6 years, just like met through following each other's artwork and stuff. And what I've always liked so much is there's a post almost every day. Like, this person is always working, always drawing. They're often kind of simple, but a lot of them aren't, like, I mean, they get pretty fucking detailed. It's like illustrative design, a lot of like mainstream characters. Like, there's a lot of Star Wars or like modern politics things, famous characters, movies, shows, whatever. But it's all in this person's style, and it's just so authentic. It's just one of the few artists that I like following just to see what they're doing, and not so much for the finished piece itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really gorgeous work. And, you know, even their simple use of like color. You know, I noticed that a lot of their pieces have like just one or two colors going on.
Splashes.
Some really dynamic shit. But the line work is incredible. I mean, it's not like super clean lines either. It's like, but the way that they're
fluid. You
know, yeah, they're fluid. You can see weight.
Dude, that's why I thought you might like this person, because the attention or the understanding of anatomy and figure reminds me of your stuff. Like, how you can draw a person and understand anatomy. Like, this person, like, I'm assuming they draw with pencil first, and then most of these are done in ink pen with some color splashes. But it's like the capture of movement and body is just so unique. Like, the lines are not normal lines. They're this person's style.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because the first thing I thought when I was looking at these pictures is, these look like something I would draw, or I would like to draw. But I didn't want to say, you know, like, oh, this reminds me of my own work, because this is way better than my work.
I think you could do very similar, though.
If I put some time to it, I feel like I could get this good. I feel like I do a lot of.
You get messier.
Yeah, I
not
do
in a bad way. But
I try to focus on realism too much, and I try to step away from it as much as I can, but I don't always get the direction that I want to. But these are really cool works.
Yeah, it just reminded me of you. It's got a comic book feel too. I think the women are particularly impressive. The portrait, I love how, like, I'm looking at one of these portraits of a woman right now, and like half of her face isn't even there. Like, and it doesn't feel like anything's missing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of simplicity in aspects that works really well. So if you guys are interested in that type of art, definitely go follow the page at Little Plastic Cats on Instagram. And then for the second artist, if you want to check this link, I feel like this artist is probably pretty well known, and I just hadn't been hip to her work. It's Miranda Zimmerman, and her Instagram page is at Fawnwood, FAUNWOOD. Some of this is a little more, some of this definitely isn't my style, but some of it is so fucking magical. Like the color choices, like on one of their stories, they had like their past sketchbooks they're flipping through, and they started, or at least a big part of their art originally, like 5 years ago, they couldn't draw at all. Like, it was like garbage, and it was like badly drawn Pokemon. And it was like going through 5 years of notebooks, and the Pokemon kept getting better and better. And then they started doing their own creatures and animals in their style that developed over the years. And this person just really developed into something outstanding. This work is gorgeous.
I've seen some of their work before.
Same. I didn't know who it was, kind of thing.
Yeah, these are really pretty. There's really nice colors and forms, and the line work is really nice.
It's very pleasing, right?
Yeah, really kick-ass work.
Beautiful color combinations. It's mostly, if not all, animal based. A lot of it's like these magical combinations of animals, like a trout with moth wings, or a lizard tiger. It has this childish Pokemon feel, but it's magical, and it's not like, it doesn't feel, some of them definitely are, but it doesn't feel cheesy. Like it has enough depth and detail and well organized composition and color work that it doesn't feel like, even though it feels childish, it doesn't feel juvenile. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Feels.
And the good news is they make some enamel pins out of their work.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows me, they know that I love and I collect enamel pins.
That's awesome.
I have a strange fascination with cool looking metal
objects.
Little things like that. And because I like to wear, a smoking jacket or whatever when I can, especially in the, fall and the springtime, and go smoke a cigar or something. And it's nice to have a little something.
Yeah.
I just put them on my backpack.
Definitely. I just thought these two artists, there's a lot of similarities, and I really thought they complemented each other well. And
yeah,
they're both lighthearted and fun. So these are kind of not on the same page as a lot of the darker art, but this is just beautiful stuff. Definitely check them out. Little Plastic Cats and Fawnwood. So that's it for honorable mentions. Got that out of the way.
So Steven, how's that beta fish doing?
Beta fish is doing okay. Dude, this fish was dead, bro. Like, I've went to take it out of the tank like 5 times, and it would be laying on the gravel in the tank, just like fins floating in the current. Like, 100% thought it was dead at least 5 different times, and then I'd touch it and it wakes back up. And I even like made a like out of like a tissue box or some shit. I like made a little coffin and like wrote it a note, and it was snowing. I was like, this will be like a proper burial. Like, I've thought it was gone, and it's almost fully recovered. It's now swimming and will eat. Like, it didn't eat for 2 weeks straight. No fish food. Like, I'm assuming it ate something like in the tank to survive, but it didn't eat fish food for 2 weeks.
Wow.
But it's recovering, and then I think he'll be okay. And then yesterday when I was doing the landscaping, the lady I work for, like, I think of her as an aunt, whatever. She's awesome. She gave me a new succulent, so I got some new plants.
Nice.
And then Sarah,
I've been thinking about getting my own. Just something alive, yeah.
Dude, they're so satisfying.
I'm certain my cat would eat them, though. My mom's got a couple, and my cat goes for them.
Sarah's cat's been chewing up this other plant I have. It's a century plant because they live for a century.
Yeah.
They got the big spikes, and her cat keeps chewing on it. I'm like, leave it alone.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're so cool. I thought that was such a meaningful gift from somebody. They're like, this plant will be there your whole life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's mom is having company for like a week or two, so we have starting tomorrow, we're picking up all of their other animals. So we're gonna have 3 cats, a dog, and a fish for a week. So it's gonna get a little nutty. It'll be fun though.
Hell yeah, that'll be fun.
Finally get some kitty cuddles.
Hell yeah, some kitty cuddles.
Yeah, the other 2 cats aren't rude like her cat. So.
Speaking of rude, my cat's, well, at least was. She just jumped up. My cat was in my lap, eating my hand.
I was laughing earlier. I don't know if you could tell, but earlier she was on the carpet rolling on her belly, like annoyed you weren't giving her attention.
Oh, yeah, she does that. She's really good at trying to make me feel bad when I leave for the day. Well, I found out this is a sign of like anxiety in cats, like separation anxiety. She would hide. She would go try to hide somewhere, like as I was like putting my shoes on and shit. And she realized that this was the pattern of me getting ready to leave. And there's ways to, you know, go about trying to change that image in their head, but like, you know, like put your shoes on and like stay home, or like pick up your keys and like put your shoes on or whatever, get like you're about to leave on a day that you're not, and then just hang out at home.
Be like, I wanted to hang out with you so badly, I didn't even go.
Right. And that can kind of help. Yeah. I've also found that like CBD helps her a lot. But she'll still try to guilt me, and she'll like just kind of stand and like look at me while I'm getting ready. She won't go hide anymore, but she just watches me, and you know, this like watch me walk out the door, and like I'll go and pet her and, you know, give her a kiss or whatever, and then I start walking out the door, and as I turn around to close the door behind me, she's just staring there looking at me. I'm like, fuck, man. Why does this cat have so much control over my heartstrings?
That's funny, man. Dude, soon I'm going to share it, but the book I'm writing, one of the main characters, I don't want to give away, there's a twist. But one of the like lead characters is a cat, and it's nice. It's getting pretty goofy because
that just spoiled the plot.
So, what when we talk about the freestyle episodes, I really like the idea of like, what are the big thoughts, either like subconscious or like the big thoughts or emotions going through your head this week? Do you have anything that you've been like playing with in your head?
Only that I wish I had more time to draw. I've been trying to set more time aside to do it. I feel like I keep saying it week after week, and then I don't. And like today, this week, my thing is like tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day to draw.
Yeah.
I did get some new little white pens because I've been fucking around with markers lately. So I got some white pens to go over, do highlights and shit with that.
I know we talked about that. Is it white pens for black paper or white pens for just for highlighting?
Both. So it's just a white gel pen.
Okay.
I watched a YouTube video, and I read a couple of reviews of these different brands, and I got the Sakura Jelly Roll white pens, and they had 3 different I guess gauges, thicknesses of line, and those by far work the best.
For like with the gel ones like that, like do they go over colored pencil, or is it?
I didn't see it over colored pencil.
Like what can you go over them with? Marker?
They demonstrated on marker and watercolor.
That makes sense.
And on black paper.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Though I like the black paper stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder about the colored pencil. I assume it would, but I would think with the waxiness of the colored pencil.
Yeah, I
wonder how that would go.
It still works, but then it fucks up the pen. Like yeah, I think you have to get like the right oil ones to really be able to do that well, or they're like more of a paint marker. Other
than that, I mean, most of my week has been full of a lot of work stuff, which I'm not really supposed to talk too much about.
Big secrets.
Yeah, it's what's, you know, by the time that this comes out anyways, I guess it's not that big of a deal. And but I know there are a couple people that I work with that listen to the podcast. So
yeah, it's
just not really worth getting into.
No big deal. Honestly, man, you've been talking since high school. I think almost every time we talk about art, you talk about wanting to make more time to draw.
Yeah. It's really been an issue.
Busy. Yeah, you've always been busy though, and it's hard to make it work sometimes.
Even through, you know, quarantine, I really didn't do shit. I had gotten some paper together, and I, you know, cut some stuff to start like making books a little bit. But by the time I really got into it, I went back to work. So there was that.
I don't want this to sound the wrong way. I do. So I think there's.
Something wrong with me? Yes.
No, I think there's like two different types. Like there's lots of different types, but I think there's like two major categories of artists. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think there's people where it is a practice, and I think there's people where it is a release.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's some people that like, and it doesn't mean one's good or like people that do it one way are better than another way.
Absolutely not. No, they're both extremely valid.
Yeah. I think some people have to do it often for it to work for them. And I think some people, it's like a build up and release, like a pressure thing.
I feel like that's more of where I sit for sure.
I think so too.
It's like, yeah, it's just like I always feel better when I do it. But my thing is, the reason why it's hard is it's like I can't just put it, putting aside an hour. It's fun, but then like I want to, like I did like quick poses a couple times in the last month and like just drew stuff for like an hour and then I put it down. It's like I want to finish these drawings. I want to sit here and draw, but like then I'll be up till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I have work tomorrow, or I might, someone might call in. And the last time I did stay up until like 3 o'clock doing something fun, I got called into work the next day when I wasn't supposed to be there. So
yeah,
it's always when I stay up late.
Yeah. And I'm more the practice category, and
yeah,
there's a reason I have more time to do it than you. And part of it is because, I feel like I have to do these things, but I also can't stop myself, and that's why I don't keep jobs for long. Like I don't have some of the things that keep me busy because I you know what I mean? Like there's definitely a lot. You
make it a priority.
I do, but it become for me it's more important than working, and that's awesome and terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a mix,
I think it's a burden and a curse, but a burden and a blessing. But I see it as especially in seeing what you do and how much you're able to create. I see it as a good thing more often than it is a bad thing.
See, I
can see it being detrimental to, like you said, keeping jobs and shit like that, but it's priorities. It's there's nothing wrong with that being a priority.
That's how I think to me, I really do value it as more important, but it's one of those things like I've had people in my life that have helped support me a lot. Like what happens when I'm working on I'm finishing school again to try to change this pattern, but it's if I continue to do this forever, I'll be 50 without fucking healthcare and not have a house. It's god damn. Right. I still have to. I need to change. I need more balance with it still. Right. So
isn't that fucked up that the world that we live in, land of the free, home of the brave, you can't focus on a passion, something that you enjoy doing, and also survive.
Right. Pay me in poison to pursue my passions. All I need is a little chunk of land, and I'll survive off nothing. I just need that. As soon as I get the house paid off, I'm quitting the job. As soon as I can barely get by, not doing shit.
That is the dream.
That is the dream. But
I need to learn how to grow crops.
Yeah, man. So what do you feel like where's your pressure gauge at with your next indulgence, if I may?
It's pretty high. You're talking about art. You're talking about art, right?
Yeah. Not the bomb in your basement. The art.
Oh, we ain't talking about that? Oh, damn. No, I think it's pretty up there. I've been looking forward to making something for quite a while now, and I just got all of my art supplies like organized. Like I had them in a box in my closet for the longest time, and it's like there's no way I'm going to use any of this shit if it's sitting in a box buried in my closet. So I got it out, and it's like right next to me right now. I can reach out and touch it, and like I've got my sketchbook and pencils and shit like right here. I got a nice a brand new nice mechanical pencil. It's like a grapher's pencil, so it's refillable mechanical pencil that's really cool.
That's my favorite drawing tool, mechanical pencil.
Yeah, I love, a good pencil set or something, is for good shading and shit, it's fun.
Yeah.
But for just drawing, if you're going to be doing like pen and ink work afterward with it, then a nice clean mechanical pencil, it's always sharp,
Do you feel like is part of it like, do you get the art block thing, or is it more just the time and energy aspect of it?
I think it's more the time and energy. I do get some of the art block, but like if I know that I have, I don't have to do shit tomorrow, I can focus on this and I have the energy for it, I'll get into it. I know if I start drawing a little bit, I'll come up with something and I'll get an idea. Yeah. And it might not be the first couple things I start with, but I'll find the thing that I want to do and I'll do it.
Yeah. And you'll make it cool as fuck. Do you like, I was on Reddit, I was trying to stack up some karma on Reddit, and I was, some of the art posts were about like writer's block, art block, whatever. Do you think that is a legitimate reason to not make things? Not for you, just in general. Like,
I do, only because I've been there before. I mean, I definitely, I have had days. I know I just said that I can get into it. But I definitely have had days where like I set time aside and I, break out to do something, and it's just like, I can't come up with something. So I usually end up like organizing my tools or like playing with other shit and like looking at some of my old work or something. And like that fucks me up. It's like, I realize I need to stop looking at my old work when I do that.
Yeah.
But I can definitely, I think it's a valid reason to not produce something.
But there's always days like that. Like I have days like that. There's times I like production slow, or I can't I don't have the right idea. But I think there's a difference between like a day or some time here and there and like a block.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair to not produce something then, but I think it's not an excuse to not try again.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse to not keep trying.
Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, I feel like when people say art blocks, I think it's bullshit. I think it's laziness, and it's something you have to force yourself through unless, like, sometimes you got to step away. But I think for the most part, when people say it, they're just talking about being lazy, and I have, like, no sympathy unless it like, a legitimate like writer's block or art block. Like that's like a psychological thing, like something is wrong and that's why you can't write, or that's, like something happened, or you have like an issue that hasn't been dealt with. I think that's like a real thing for sure. But when people, like the type of people who are on Reddit talking about I can't think of what to draw, it's like, then don't, like, fuck off. I don't understand what you're on here. Like, you took the time to post online.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's different. I would never do, I mean, I wouldn't ever post on Reddit anyways. Mostly because I'm just not the type of, like, I haven't updated my Instagram in forever, and I usually just end up posting a picture of my cat, because I just don't, I don't have anything else that I feel like sharing. And it's like, I haven't said anything in a while. Look at this cute cat.
Yeah,
I think also it might make sense. I feel like your perspective is going to be different too, because as long as I've known you, you and I have talked in this way before. Like I can't draw things out of my head. I just don't have that. I have to have tons of references, and like if I even like drawing,
that's
like,
not
people
true.
No, that's what I need when I draw things out of my head, it doesn't come out ever the way that I want it, and I get disappointed, and then it's not fun for me. So it's not it's not worth my time to do because I'm doing it for me.
But that might be true with realism, but I've seen you draw all kinds of like good shit out of your head.
Well, I should,
maybe it's not I know what you mean.
It usually given a prompt.
Yeah, but I do think it may be a discredit to yourself to say that you can't draw out of your head.
Okay, well, I'll say it's not my strongest suit that I feel most comfortable in.
Fair
I
enough.
have seen you come up with shit on the fly out of nowhere, and it's always something unique and original, and it's definitely like your artwork. So I feel like you have a fountain of creativity that you can pull on that some people don't. And even if I can tap into something like that a little bit, if there are people out there that just don't have that, but they want to get better at drawing and draw things, I mean, I wouldn't say going to Reddit is the best way, or, making a post about it on a forum somewhere is the best way to go about it. But I can definitely see where people would be like, I just don't know where to start. Or I haven't done this in years. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I can.
I think if it wasn't for school, I might be there too.
Say that again.
If it wasn't for going to the school we did, I might be there too. Going to like Art Funds 1 and shit like that, where it'd be like, draw your self portrait. You have 3 minutes. Okay, and then now you have a minute. Now you have 30 seconds. Now you have 10 seconds. And like doing each one, and like then you get better at doing it. And like, that's a frame of reference. And that's usually what I end up starting with all the time, is just I'll draw a self portrait. And then I'm drawing something, and then I'm actively thinking about it and doing it. So that's, the little trick that I picked up from that. But if I hadn't had that experience, I don't know what I would do with, instead.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fair. Like, who the fuck knows how old that person was who posted that too. But I just generally think a lot of times, like, art blocks are an excuse.
Steven's out here bullying 13-year-olds on Reddit.
I'm glad I didn't tell you what my reply was.
You fucking weak piece of shit.
Your will is weak.
You'll never make it. You'll never make it.
You'll never make it in this business.
This industry's going to eat you alive.
Oh my God, dude. That is hilarious, man. Oh, shit.
And don't act like those posts definitely don't exist, because they do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what else? Any other art thoughts?
What have your thoughts been for this week? Your permeating thoughts?
I'm not, honestly, I'm normally very in tune with what I'm thinking, but I kind of got like got spun around a little bit this week, where I feel like today I was doing yoga, meditation stuff, feel a little bit zoned back in, but I spent like 3 days like super fucking angry. I was having like an angry spike, and it kind of like, I don't know, kind of like anger blocks your sensitivity even to yourself, kind of thing. And I used to be angry all the fucking time, and I still feel like it's true, and part of my identity will always be that I'm an angry person, but I don't want to carry around like extreme amounts of anger all the time. So I feel like I've learned how to manage that pretty good, but this week, man, I was through the roof, just like redlining for like no reason. I like had to be around, girlfriend, family, met up with a friend or two, and it's like I can put it aside, and I know it still affects those relationships, or like how hanging out that day would have been, but I can do pretty good at like putting it aside. But like by myself, it was like spiking.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's so salty, because I've never That's never angry is never a word I would ever use to describe you.
It's so weird. I hear that a lot, but it's like I think of myself as really fucking angry.
You're like one of the most generous and kind people I've ever met in my entire life. Like just a generally chill person in all times I've ever hung out with you.
I try to be very chill. I feel like I have to. I mean, around some people it's way easier than others, but I feel like I have to use energy to be chill around people.
To counter it?
Yeah. Like my natural state, I feel like is someone that like I wouldn't want to be around kind of thing. Like I feel like, I don't know, sometimes it feels fake too, where I have to like start the day as one person. I gotta like work through it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. No, that I get. I usually end up getting that way at work. That's part of the reason I'm trying to get out of the customer service thing as much as possible. Yeah. Or at least the intense amount of it that I'm doing at this particular job. It's way beyond any other thing I've ever had, because like customers make me get that way. Even when it's like not a big thing, and I know it's not a big thing, like I've dealt with way worse, I get such a strong adverse reaction to just little shit sometimes at work. And it's like, it fucks me up in the morning, because I wake up and it's like another day of this bullshit, like another day of this. And it's like, it's not just going to my job. It's not the whole job. It's just this part of it. And I know that really fucks me up a decent amount.
Yeah, that's that people part. And I mean, I'm sure you're really good at it at this point, but that would be very challenging for me.
Yeah, it's like I said, in this particular job, because we're the place I'm at, it's like healthy, and we deal with a lot of like allergy kind of shit. Like there's a lot of special requests, like more than any other place I've ever worked at.
Some sensitive people, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but it's a sensitive crowd for sure.
Yeah,
right?
and they either have a special diet that they need to, or they want to stick to, and I'm down with that. Like that's super fine, and I'm down to try to help you out. But if there's a lot of other shit going on, like it takes time, and people, there are so many people that, they don't want to just tell you, oh, I'm trying to do low carb, or I'm trying to stay away from these things, or I'm allergic to these things and I can't have them. They want you to list out all the ingredients for them. And it's like, look, it's easier if you tell me the 3 things that you're allergic to, right, and I can just cut it down for you. I can go through this menu and just cross shit off that you can't have, right, and we'll make it really easy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'd rather.
I want to know like, everything.
I told one person one time to just email. They're like, there's just so many allergies and things I can't have. I was like, well, if you email me a list of them, I can, go through, because they didn't want to list them all off. I said, if you email me the list, I'll go through the menu for you. I'll get back to you, real quick, and I'll figure it out for you. Make it really easy. And they were like, no, is there coconut in this one thing? And I said, yeah. And they said, oh, never mind then. And that was it. That's all they had to say. Once I made them try to do some work about it,
it's like, that's not even a smart way to have that discussion.
Yeah.
Now, do you carry anger with you? And do you hold any, like, because I could see you potentially having some, but I kind of don't think you do. Do you have any, like, true hatred?
That was the crashing sound of my cat knocking my Xbox controller all the way down 3 shelves of things, and knocking over a picture and hitting my guitar.
I think your hatred takes the shape of a cat.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So you're asking if I carry anger with me?
That, and like, do you have any like true hatred?
I'm not sure if it's true hatred. I hate willful ignorance. I hate the choosing to believe things, even though there's so many so much evidence that points to the contrary. There's a lot of that. I mean, not just like, oh, there's a couple examples, like things like, the earth is round, or, shit like that. Like those kind of things, like those piss me off when people are stupid like that and choose to be. But it's not, I think it's that they piss me off. It's not like a hatred, I guess. I don't know. I only say that because I feel like, they say like hatred is, more related to love. It's not the opposite of. It's
poison you both drink.
Yeah.
There's that phrase, whatever.
It's some shit like that. But I don't feel like it's hatred because I don't get. It's easy for me to just say, you know what, fuck it, and just walk away from that.
Yeah.
Anger. I think I get more angry with myself than anything.
You do. You're harsh.
Yeah. Well,
Sarah does that too.
I grew up getting the good grades and the honor, programs and shit like that or whatever. Not honor programs, but like, I was in, the fuck's it called? I got.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was one of those. I did really good growing up, and now I hold myself to a certain standard, and I even like, especially with work. Work's really rough for me in that regard. Like I used to work with my sister-in-law, and because it's my family, like I definitely can't fuck up, and I ran myself ragged mentally, making sure that like everything was right all the time as much as I could possibly control. And sometimes I'd go beyond the scope of my job to try to control other people's actions to make sure that shit was right. And I ended up just overworking myself to death because of it. It's not as bad when it's not a personal thing, I guess, but I still take such ownership in especially in my work, but in most things that I do, that I get upset when it's not right. Yeah. And I can't get upset with anyone but me because I'm the one that chose to do it. And if I try to let someone else do it and they fuck up, then it's still my fault in my mind.
Yeah. That's such a harsh game though, man.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That's why I'm looking forward. The summer job is going to be, at least the atmosphere should be easier for me. The technical work of it's going to be a lot easier for me. It should be a fun summer thing to do. And then afterward, it's already set to be temporary. So it's going to end. It's like there's the first like 3-4 months of a job where like it's something new and you're learning a new trade and you're getting used to it. And then like by the end of that time, it's like, okay, I've learned this. I'm sick of it. It's time to move on. And it's just already going to happen for me. And I don't have to make an excuse for staying on longer for myself. So
that helps.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
So I think it's always better to be angry over sad.
Yeah.
Because anger is like an action emotion. Like that fire can be motivating. But I think it's so weird. Like I feel like no matter how fucking dumb shit I do, like I have to be like super kind to myself, because like if that anger goes inwards, like I will destroy myself. Like it has to go outwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
you use your anger, like if you're sad about something, anger, being sad about something is not going to help you fix the problem. Being angry, at least in my experience, will at least give me the motivation to do the thing that's going to fix it and make it right.
Yeah,
even though I'm angry about it, I'm still going to fix it, make it right, and then I feel better afterward.
There's strength in anger.
Yeah,
there can be, not always. I mean,
there's a lot of weakness in it too.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very vulnerable emotion sometimes. They say it's always a mask for your other feelings, but I think sometimes if it's focused enough, it's like a fucking blowtorch, man. Just cut through some shit. Now, so true hatred. All right, I have a thought experiment.
Yeah.
All right, think of everyone you hate.
Okay.
Anyone you've ever hated, person who cut you off in traffic, like All right, let me clarify. The people that you like really despise. Like maybe you were angry at somebody cut you off in traffic, but unless you're like a psycho, like super angry, they're not going to the herd, right?
Right.
So you get all the people you truly hate, whether it's like every corrupt politician, you got Trump, you got the popes, the head of every major religion, anybody who like really fucked you over, and they're all rounded up. You round them up with dogs, and you put them in the church, and they're all in there, and the church is covered with gasoline, and you have the match. Would you light it? Like,
yeah. I'm not a saint. Yeah, I would.
That's hatred.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I answered really quickly only because I knew where that question was going. As you started saying it, I realized, okay, I see. You're like,
I'm burning these fuckers.
Yeah, and
I see it in you. That's why I was like,
yeah.
I'm not. I don't think you carry anger much, but I think you still have that little bit of like, I don't know what it is. It's like a rot on the heart kind of thing. Like it's a it's a special thing.
Also, the thing I feel like those individual people are
deserve it.
Yeah, well, they're not people that have just like done me wrong, or whatever. It's not like my ex-girlfriend and shit like that. Like that's not who I was thinking of. Right. It's
bigger evil.
Yeah, it's like you said, corrupt politicians and shit like that. That that's the kind of thing that's like that burns rage in my heart. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I try to stay away from news. I've been watching more of it because of the recent year that's been a thing. Mm-hmm. The, what's the word somebody used for it? It was a really good word, and I'll think of it later, of course. It was just the uncomfortableness of the last year has been fueled me to watch more of the news and pay more attention to shit like that, and it just makes me angry, and I like to stay up on knowing what's going on, but I just hate everybody.
Yeah, man. I kind of stay involved in politics stuff, but I mostly am in the internet version of it all, like I like to know, like you said, what's going on, but I don't want to be too tunneled.
Yeah, I try to read from all sides, or as many sides as possible. You can pick up when something's bullshit, or and everyone's got a bias. So you read from the angles, and you can piece it together. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what's really going on. So
we were talking the other day. It's like if you look at the last 300 years or throughout of all time, like shit does get better. It's a slow trend of like less and less evil, but it's over lifetimes. Like overall things trend better. People,
like we said, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, and it takes a whole lifetime to see any progress. So if you're watching too close on the day-to-day, it's just going to be painful.
Yeah, it's there's a note I saw. It was a Instagram post, I think, but it was a letter for a man that applied to a college in Georgia and was rejected because the college does not have to review or permit access to the college for people of the quote-unquote Negro race. And this was from 1959.
Wait, this happened in 1959?
In 1959, because civil rights wasn't a thing until 1960, 61, I think.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that one. So, I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen more later still.
Yeah. Well, they weren't legally allowed to later.
But Georgia, dude, I've been watching that Amend show.
Oh, yeah.
They just covered, I don't know if it was the mayor, the governor of Georgia during those years was making speeches saying that they were denying the federal government's changes about segregation. They're like, no, your laws do not affect state laws, trump federal laws. We are still going to have Jim Crow shit for years after.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Georgia, but you said Georgia, right?
Yeah, Georgia.
Forget,
but it's like that wasn't even a lifetime ago. If you look at like when they say like, 25 years is a life sentence, I guess technically, but that's not what it is anymore. There are people's parents that were alive then. There are people's grandparents that were definitely alive then.
Right.
It's not that long ago. And to see that, quote unquote change was made, but it kind of really wasn't. It wasn't, I guess it was put into place that it could be made, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a huge change now, but it doesn't excuse all the evils and all the pain people and sacrifice people had to make for that change. It's just so like every day there's just, it's like who are we killing or bombing today? It's just like so fucking dark. So dark. But things do tend to get better over time.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what the fuck we evolve into as a race. As humans. Are we going to become robots? Are we going to become aliens?
Mulatto-colored race of humanoids, of cyborg humanoids.
With spare parts and shit. We live forever. We find the fountain of youth and technology.
You're born in instead of a what's it called, a baptism, they insert the chip in your brain and you get rocking and rolling.
Elon Musk, the Neuralink, just I believe it's going to human trials.
Cool.
Yeah, interesting. Now, what do you? I think for real though, like in the future, like there's all these like new techno ink things. Like there's tattoos that can like tell temperature or like skin dyeing stuff. Like who the fuck knows what we really might look like? Like not just the bio changes internally, but the
external shit.
Yeah, man. Like there's a talk of tattoos you could shed where they last like 3 months on like imagine growing an extra layer of skin that you could tattoo and shed like a snake whenever you want, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fucking cool.
That'd be so fucking cool.
Yeah,
like we could all be purple. Like who knows what becomes a trend? Like, oh, did you get the new skin? Like
I literally got the new skin for that.
Yeah, right. Oh man, it was so crazy. Now, and I think it was our last episode we were talking about, or at one point you gave me a thought. At one point you talked about like how if we don't defend or fight for ourselves, like no one else is going to advocate for you, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like we were just saying, like you have to be like a best friend to yourself. Like it's all about what you do for yourself, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So when was the first time you stood up for yourself? Like it doesn't have to be physical, mentally, whatever. When was like the first time you were like, because I feel like as a kid, and I feel like we were raised in similar sense, you're always taught to be like a good kid. Like our parents might have said to stand up for ourselves, but it's always like you're just told what to do as a kid. And that first time is like it's something changes in your brain,
I'm sure there were more times when I was young. I stayed out of trouble for the most part, so I don't really have, a lot of memories of things that would have been something from when I was young. But I can tell you one of the times I was more proud of is a job that I had where they tried to dick me around, and when I first started there, within like 3 or 4 weeks, one of my check bounced. And then I took the check back to him and I said, hey, my check bounced at the bank. They couldn't cash it. And he said, oh, sorry about that, whatever, funds. And, so it all of them hit at the same time. And so he pulled cash out of the safe and he gave it to me. But like, I had already, my taxes came out of it already. It's, I had the form to prove it. So it's whatever. I got my money.
Still skep as fuck.
Yeah, kind of skep, yeah. I was like 22.
Did you have to pay for the check bouncing?
No.
Because I've had that happen. You're like,
that's fucked up.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
Was that like at a bank or at a check cashing place?
At a bank.
Really?
And it ultimately got waived, but I think
I didn't have to do that. They actually looked at it and they were like, that's not going to clear. And I was like, really? And they said, nah. And they didn't even like go through the process. Apparently I found out later on, they knew these people. It was a small town. Wow. This was in Florida.
Dude, if you're bouncing payroll checks, like you're fucked. Like you clearly are a mess.
So it happened a few times since then, or after that, to a couple other people. It happened to me a couple times, but it was always just like, oh, here's the money. Like, sorry, like we're our bad, and I'm good now. And then it kept happening over and over again. And then like one day the lights didn't come on, or the lights got shut off, and we walked outside and the energy company's out there like somebody didn't pay the bill. God so I called the boss and he was like, oh, we definitely paid. I was like, well, they said you didn't. So, and they turned off the power, and they don't do that unless someone didn't pay the, bill. So anyway, and this was a successful restaurant. We worked our fucking asses off at this place. I was there morning, noon, and night. All day long, doing different shit for them, doing prep. I was their sous chef for a minute. I kicked ass at this restaurant. They made a ton of money. Was selling way overpriced shit.
A drug addict?
That's what we think. We think the owner, it was going up someone's nose, or they were drinking it. Like, we don't know.
Gambling. Something.
Yeah. So they one time. So finally, it happened to me. It was like 2 weeks in a row of not getting my paycheck. And so like they owed me money from work I did a month ago.
God damn.
And I go in there and I'm like, hey, man. I
remember this, dude.
Yeah, this check.
Like 5 years ago or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
A little bit longer. But yeah, it was the, they told me, he reached in the safe and he didn't have any cash. And I was like, so he's like, I'm sorry, we'll have money tonight after service. Now, at this point, I was the AM manager, so I wasn't going to be there that night. To like collect, afterward. And even if I was, it wouldn't have mattered. So I said, okay, cool. I'll be back tonight then. So I went downstairs and I still had a little bit of prep to do.
You load your pistol and
yeah. No, so I still had a little bit of prep to do before, the lunch service or whatever. So I helped my team out and I set up, lunch for them. And then I said, all right, guys, I'm going to go home. And my chef was like, what, why? And I was like, you guys owe me money for work I did a month ago. And then this check just bounced now. So, I'm not going to be here until I get paid. Yeah. Like, if I'm not going to get paid for my work, I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
And, he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I was like, he said he'd have my money later. He can call me later. I'll come pick it up and I'll be back tomorrow. No problem.
Yeah. But you're talking about a month of your life. Like,
yeah.
How could someone not get that? Like,
yeah, this is thousands of dollars.
Like, fuck you guys. Yeah.
So he did not call me later on that night. They did not have my money. So he called me the next day. He was like, sorry, man, we didn't have it. I don't have cash right now for it. He still didn't have it the next day. It was like almost a week later, and he finally calls me and he's like, I got, all your money. I was like, cool. So I came in and, a bunch of other bullshit happened. Someone cut their finger in the kitchen. So I ended up working that night, but I had gotten paid. So it was whatever.
Right.
And then I showed up the next day in the morning and he was like, oh, I thought you were like done. I was like, no, I didn't give my 2 weeks. I said, like, I'm going to give him my 2 weeks now, but like, I didn't quit. I just wanted to get paid.
Right.
So, but that was the one of the ones I'm more proud of. It's just like I couldn't fucking do that anymore. And I gave him 2 weeks and I left, but
feels good.
Yeah. I've never been fired from a job. That's also feels good.
I've never been straight fired, but I've been not called back or like I had to quit because, or I either had to quit or just stop showing up because I wasn't going to be able to make it another day. Like they knew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But God, it feels good to tell an employer to like fucking pay up kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I didn't go, lip up at him either. I was just like, I just need my money. Like I tried to keep it as professional as possible and just
gonna firebomb your restaurant if you don't pay me tomorrow.
Right. Although I have been thinking about, I want to go off on a customer. I want to go off on somebody so bad.
That
like it's just
truly
a feeling,
deserves it.
Yeah, it's not just anybody, somebody that deserves it.
Right.
But most of our customers are just like a little needy, but it's not like, I didn't say most of our customers are needy. It's just like the ones that irk me are needy. It's not that they're being really shitty. And we've had shitty ones come in, but I'm usually not there when they come in. Where it's really easy to, correct them when people come in like without a mask on. And it's like, they start trying to, or they come in with a mask on and then they lower it so they can talk to us. It's like, sorry, ma'am, you have to keep your mask on while you're in the building. And they said, oh, it's on. It's like, no, you have to keep it over your face and over your nose, please. Right. Thank you. And then they usually, they'll act right.
You'll get your chance one of these days. I am sure of it.
Yeah, before I leave this place, I just want to have one like, get the fuck out of my kitchen. Get the fuck out of my restaurant. You don't deserve to be here. I'm not serving you food.
Straight Gordon Ramsay.
Because there have definitely been customers that came in and were screaming at my staff before. And they've called me afterward like, hey, and they're upset because they're like, we might get a bad review later on online and I want you to know what happened. This is what happened. And I look back at the camera and I see this woman like pointing her finger and wagging and pissed off and throwing her hands in the air and shit. And it's like, if I had been there, I would have told that woman to get in her car, go home and chill the fuck out and never come back here again.
Right.
Like, there's no way you're going to stand here and talk to my employees like that. Get the fuck out of here.
No way.
And I told them if you ever see her come in again, tell her to leave. Like there's no excuse for that kind of behavior. But when was the first time you stood up for yourself?
I was gonna. Did you have any of that stuff like in grade school, like bully stuff?
No, not really. I went to Fairview for like elementary for a while, until third grade, and then I went to SCPA, and I really didn't. There was like little dumb shit where like, assholes, yeah, like when I was in sixth grade, I had my girlfriend at the time. Maria Chen, and it was, we'd hold hands in the hallway and that was it.
Sixth grade.
And when we'd sit in the auditorium before school started and I had my arm around her and that was
big pimping.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I had a friend, he was my friend. But he was sitting behind me, in the auditorium and he was like just fucking with me. I don't even remember what he was doing, but he was pissing me off, like trying to, fuck with me. And I turned around and I started slapboxing with him. I definitely hit him a couple times and he started hitting me back. And then Mr. Fletcher came over and pulled us apart and took us to the office. And I think I got a out of school suspension for a day.
Nice. It's a great reward.
Yeah. It was going to be ISS, but there was a reason that I didn't have to do that. But that was the extent of that, I think.
Yeah. I had some bullying stuff, but not bad, not like some people go through. But I did have... So my dad was my my grade school principal, and
It's like the worst. That sounds so shitty.
It was. Honestly, like as a kid, like I thought it was really cool till I got older, and then I realized how much of a negative it was.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, that probably kept me from getting bullied, but it got me like teased a lot. You know what I mean? Like not as much physical shit, but it definitely made it like hard to be normal or whatever. But before my dad was my principal, like in first grade, and it was funny because this kid was like, it wasn't like the typical like jock kind of dude. It was like another, like, because I was kind of nerdy, but he was like
it's first grade, everybody's nerdy,
right? He was like a super nerd, like outcast kid, and you could tell like he didn't want to be like the bottom of the barrel, so he would like pick on other kids, but it's like, I don't know, he wasn't the cool kid, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's first grade, so at recess or whatever, he started like jumping on me or something, and he was like I think he was trying to beat me up, but it's like first grade, so it was like bad wrestling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it happened a couple times, and then one day I was just like sick of it, so like I didn't hit him, but dude, I bit his arm so hard, he started like gushing blood everywhere.
Ooh.
And it was good. And I remember like they sent me, like I think the kid had to go to like get checked out. Like it was, I don't know if he needed stitches or what. It was a good chomp, man. And like they took me to the office or whatever, and my dad, it's funny because, you know, he's still like an educator, he's still a principal at a different school or whatever. I remember him picking me up from the principal's office and then taking me to get ice cream. Like he was not angry. Like he was like, "You did good." And I remember that meant a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember that changed things, you know?
Mm-hmm. My dad definitely, he always taught me that too. Like if someone's fucking with you, hit them back. Don't take bullshit from people. Don't whatever. And I'm sure there were some times that weren't as big of a deal that I'm not remembering, but like I didn't really ever got that. I was thinking recently, so definitely in my like middle school, like end of elementary and middle school years, there were times like there wasn't a lot of like bullies at SCPA. That wasn't like a thing, I feel like. But then I also realized that like if anybody was there, I was a bully sometimes. We trash canned a kid one time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this was like 5th or 6th grade maybe. And a super annoying fucking kid. Really
deserved it.
Like, okay, no, like it wasn't like we were picking on him because of something. He was like fucking with us, like all up, like just bugging the shit out of us. And we'd try to like get away from it. Right. And he kept, you know, and it was just the dumbest shit. So yeah, we fucking trash canned the kid.
That's funny. Man.
And some upper, in my mind, they were like high schoolers, but they might have just been middle schoolers or something. And they were like, "Oh hell yeah, man, fuck that kid." So, you know, because it's not a big school, like everyone knew each other for the most part.
Oh shit. Dude,
but
that's really funny. Like that's bad, but dude, like that's the thing is like from that kid's point of view, he probably was bullied, but it's one of those things like you got taught a fucking lesson. It's different if you're singling someone out and picking on them. It's different if someone won't stop fucking with you.
Yeah, it was not that at all.
Right.
But like we definitely ganged up on this kid, and he was smaller than us. So we just lifted him up off the ground and put him in a trash can.
Dude, as soon as you said like that role reversal, I did some shitty things in high school for sure.
Let me clarify, I don't feel great about it, but I don't really feel bad about it either.
Right.
It's
a hard thing to explain, but it is what it is. Yeah. Shit happens, and some people need to be put in place every now and again. But I have one I don't know if I've told you this one. I've told a couple people, but I kept it to myself for a long time. And part of it was I genuinely forgot I did it for like close to a decade. Mm-hmm. And then something sparked the memory and I could not believe it. Dude, I felt so bad I wanted to write the dude a note. Like as an adult. I was like, I need to find this kid's address. Like I need a letter. Oh man. It was so bad. And I still feel bad about it, but it was it was
Are you gonna tell me on mic?
I am, I think.
Okay, cool.
So it was like sophomore year. So school had just we'll talk more about this too, but the summer going into sophomore year is when my friend who I called my brother, Tony, killed himself. And for a long time, I planned on doing that with him. So, like, he died, and then school started, like, 4 days later.
Oh, damn.
So, it was, like, start of sophomore year of high school. And I'm, like, I wasn't, like, upset, but, like, I was mentally very unwell. And I remember starting school, like, right after. And like you have your big school assembly start of the year shit, right? And we're leaving this assembly. It's like 200 kids or 400 kids of your class. Like they stagger it. And everybody goes to their locker for the first time, right? And like I always wore my hoodie, like all black and hoodie, right? And it was funny. I left after that school year, and they banned hoodies. To this day of the school, you're not allowed to. You can't even wear a sweatshirt with a hoodie. And it was because like me and two other kids would not take them off or whatever. So I'm like walking to my locker for the first time, and I remember like people that probably fucked with me the year before. Like somebody was talking shit, and there was like. I knew people were looking at me because I was like clearly not doing okay. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, instead of making a point to them, like we're all walking to our lockers. And I remember like getting out of there really quick. So I was like ahead of a bunch of people. And the lockers were those half lockers where there's one on top of the other.
Yeah.
So there's this kid and he doesn't see me. This is why it's really bad. He doesn't see me at all, and I'm walking down the hallway with a group behind me. He's at the end of the hallway, and he's opening up his top locker, right? He's this really short Asian kid, and I don't even know his name. Like, I never, maybe saw him like once or twice after, and he's opening up his locker for the first time on the first day of school. The locker is lined up with his face. I have no idea who he is. And I remember just taking his head and just bashing it into the door. And I don't know if it knocked him out or what, but like I don't even think he saw me. And like I just kept walking. And that was like how I started the school year. And it was like everyone saw it. And no one said a thing. And it was like, this is how we're starting this year.
Now, at this point, you are unfuckwithable.
Dude, it went a long way for the rest of the year.
Nobody fucks with Steven.
Dude, it was so bad. I feel
he didn't even know that guy.
No idea who it was. I was just like,
Jesus,
like,
fuck.
Dude. I mean, it was one of those things. Like, I totally see how. I mean, I've done a bunch of other dumb shit, but like stuff like that. Like when somebody's so unwell, it's so like I totally.
So yeah, you were definitely not in the right place to be going back to school.
No, like I didn't even remember it happened for years. And I remember somebody mentioned something like about it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like pieces came back. It was like I probably shouldn't have even have been there, but it's weird. Like if you're so unwell that you can do shit that feels like out of your control. I mean, I was a different person then too, but it still feels like, whew, it was bad. I felt so. If anybody knows who he is, tell him I'm sorry. One of these days I'll find him.
that reminded me of the other really shitty thing we do. It wasn't not anywhere near that, but I don't think we ever did it to anybody outside of our friend group. But this was like elementary and early middle school. We would take packets of either grape jelly or ketchup. And right before someone sits down in a chair, you just open it a little bit and throw it underneath their seat.
Oh, yeah.
So that it gets all over their pants and shit. And they can't feel it usually. Especially like with denim or something. Like grape jelly just got really sticky and kind of gross. But ketchup would not only stain their clothes really, really bad, but it would smell terrible.
Dude, that's so funny.
And there was a kid in our art class, and he was new that year, and we were friends with him. We'd hung out and whatever. But I forget what he did. He did something to me. It was like either a nut check or whatever, like, you know, and I was pissed off about that. So later on that day at lunch, he was wearing khaki pants, and I got him with a ketchup, and it fucked him up. He never realized it was me. It was great.
Dude, I'm like remembering so many bad things now.
Were we bullies?
Dude, I'm remembering a bunch of bad shit.
Were we bad people?
Oh my God. Dude, I would always do the locks. Like, take somebody's lock, and then you put it on their belt loop, their back belt loop.
Ooh, that's rough.
That sucks. There was the other one. Oh, before we started today, Sam told me to say hey. And
yeah, what's up, Sam?
Yeah, Sam will remember. I forget. There was a term for it where you take somebody's backpack. Like, there would always be the assemblies and shit. And like, me and like two other people, we'd always sneak out, and then everybody's backpacks are there. And there were oftentimes, like, I'd steal a bunch of shit, but most of the time, we would just empty their backpack, you flip it inside out, and put everything back in. So after the assembly ends, they have to run to their class, and they, like, sometimes you put the straps in, so they'd have to hold, like, they're going to be late, or else the school is, like, hardcore about, like, if you're late, demerits, detention. So, like, everybody's running around with their bag inside out trying to get to class on time. I think it was called, like, pickling. What was it? Sam would know. But there was a term, and, like, dude, there were times, like, 3 of us would get, like, 100 backpacks. They'd start having, like, school announcements, like, stop the pickling!
Oh, fuck, that's really good. That's so good.
I know I did it a couple times, but there was one kid who just every day would piss in the stairwell. I know a couple people started doing it just because.
Just because.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Just so many angry kids.
Now, as an
oh, God. Like, go to the school for a school visit and just piss in the stairwell. Dude, and then I remember at one point there was, he was called the Phantom Pooper. Dude, every year at exam time, this one kid would sneak out and take a shit in the hallway because all the teachers would have to proctor the exams, and it happened every exam for like,
oh my God,
4 years. So the dude graduated as the Phantom Pooper, and then there was this whole question of if someone would take up his mantle, and then at one point they had to have school security for the hallways to try to catch the pooper. It was so funny.
That's wonderful.
This other kid, he would take cans of Axe body spray and he'd tape the button so it's like a grenade, and you roll them down the hallways or in a classroom, and that smell, like they'd have to have class in a different room like for a week.
Oh, dude, we that's one we used to do was we called it like dieselin or big dieselin. And we take cans of Axe body spray because, you know, it was the mid 2000s. Everybody had a can of Axe body spray on them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, this is before like we smoked weed or anything, so it wasn't even for that. It was just
so we just snorted Axe.
Yeah. So we would take it and the like 3 or 4 of us would run up on one person and just spray him head to toe. It was always, like our own friends and shit,
just want to do hood rat shit with the friends.
I was one of the only things we ever did that like other people on a somewhat regular basis, and you can't really do this anymore because people don't have house phones. So there used to be like the school student directory, and it had in it would have every student and then their house phone and like how to reach them, and it was just a thing that like all students got. Was the student directory. So we would call people and we would tell, we would leave a thing on their voicemail. You can set your phone to, not show up who it was or whatever. And we'd leave a message on the voicemail that would be like, when we'd say their name too, like, yo, Mackenzie, we got that weed you were looking for, I'll have it at school tomorrow. You just bring me $20, I couldn't get the pills though, so
Oh my god! Dude.
And we left so many of those.
Do you remember when they were bringing drug raids to the school?
Yes.
What the fuck, man? They were bringing dogs into classrooms and shaking everybody down. Like, what the fuck was going on? It was probably like my fault. It's probably
you had just showed up.
Yeah,
the drugs have been a problem at SCPA for a minute. Although I feel like it was mostly weed for the longest point.
Yeah,
it
start changing.
It's like you got a bunch of art kids. Of course they smoke weed.
Yeah, so they bring drug dogs to the art rooms.
Yeah,
what is going on?
At one point, they were talking about checking the cars outside in the parking lot, and I was like, "Fuck, that's where I park." And it's like,
that's where my car is.
Like when it made sense for them to do that because we'd sit out there and smoke blunts all day long.
It's like, oh god,
it was of course they did. So I was thinking like with the pissing in the hallway. Imagine now as an adult. Imagine like having a friend that's like a teacher or something, or works at a school, and like that's a thing that they deal with on a regular basis. It's just like they're pissing the stairwell. It's like they did it again. Imagine that's your fucking job. Like you already deal with enough like dealing with all these fucking kids, and then like there's piss in the stairwell and someone's got to clean it up.
So funny.
Oh, it's fucking brutal.
Also, like I did stage crew like the first year of high school, and I got kicked off, and it legitimately wasn't something I did that like I got blamed for, so they kicked me off. And so in revenge, I started realizing like there's the green room and there's all these kids from different schools that are in these plays or whatever. So the parents have a whole schedule of bringing food for after school to feed like 100 kids. So if you ditch class early, you go to the green room, which isn't unlocked yet. So all the parents leave the food outside, and then you steal like food for 100 people, and you put it in your locker, and you and then give it away or whatever.
Yeah,
like
fuck yeah.
You could steal the whole drama department's food for like so satisfying. So satisfying.
Oh my god.
What else? I know we wanted to talk about a couple other future ideas. Should we do that now?
Yeah.
Our next cycle, what the plan might be. Try to figure out a couple episodes maybe.
Real quick, while you're talking about stealing food, I wanted to interject. When you got the SCPA, we still had vending machines, yeah?
Yeah. That's actually the first time I met my buddy Kyle, he was punching in a vending machine. Yeah.
Nice. Wait. Kyle Connors?
No, Bears.
Okay.
Little bro. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say Kyle Connors was the kid that I was fighting with in the auditorium. He was a grade above us. Anyway, there's a vending machine on the 4th floor right underneath the gym, and it was routinely like not locked all the way.
Yeah,
and you could just get inside of it and lift drinks. And one day, like, it was like a well-known thing that, you know, but you just close it back up so no one catches it. One day someone left it open when like everyone was stealing fucking everything out of it. Dude. And then it was started to get locked all the time.
You want to hear the move?
Yeah.
I got 2. So one, it's not quite the same anymore, but the old vending machines, to unlock, sometimes they have a digital code by pressing the right order of buttons.
Yeah.
Like Pepsi, Sprite, Pepsi, Coke. And it would pop or like unlock certain things. So like sometimes they don't change the original code. So you could look it up online, and I'd try them on all the different machines. And sometimes like you could set them all to free and shit. But the big brain move is every day at the start of school, you get a bunch of paper towels from the bathroom and you stuff it up the coin slot. All day, all the leftover change that's supposed to come out will get stuck on the paper towels. And then you use a wire and pull the towel down at the end of the day, and you take your $10, $20 of change.
Fuck yeah.
Every day.
That's big brain move.
Dude, big brain. For all you high schoolers out there, steal from your classmates.
How to Make Friends and Influence People. Starring the Trashcats.
Oh, shit.
So next cycle.
Art, philosophy, entertainment, freestyle. So we don't got to do freestyle. Right. So art. Let's start with art. What are your thoughts?
Oh, fuck. I had an idea before the show, and I didn't write it down because I was driving. Oh, fuck.
You can't write and drive? I
know. And it might have been for entertainment, but I feel like it was for art. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
I got kind of 2. So did you see that new documentary on Netflix by any chance called it was called Is That Upside Down? Or what is that? It's something stupid.
What's up with that?
It was just about that dumb. I will find it real quick. But it's a documentary on forging Rothkos.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that.
It's okay. It's very interesting. It's called Made You Look, the true story about fake art.
Okay.
What's up with that? And it's about these people involved in this process that basically sell over 60 forged Rothko paintings. There's also a ton of Pollock and Robert Motherwell. And all in all, it gets up to like $80 million worth of fake art and potentially millions of dollars worth of fake art in circulation that they don't know about. And some of the people are in on the con, and other people are unwilling but ignorantly letting it happen. And this documentary explores that pretty well, but I don't really... That documentary is just okay. Like, there's better ones. And there's one about this guy who was known for being able to forge all of the great artists undetectably, and he shows the whole process of how he does it, because he got busted after 30-something years. Somebody snitched on him, and he's going to prison for just like 2 years. That's all he's getting. He's a millionaire off of it, and he was able to hide most of his money, but he has to go to prison for a couple years. And it's about him showing the process. And when he gets out of prison, he gets his first solo art show ever of his own work. It's very interesting. So I was thinking, so I like that route or the art theft route, like the big mysteries of art theft, whether it's the Nazi treasure hunting, the museums that still have empty frames from all the pieces that were stolen, the Mona Lisa disappearing, coming back, all the great art theft mysteries or art forgery, I thought would be fun.
That could be, yeah. That I like the theft. That could be
theft or forgery.
Theft.
Okay,
would be really interesting. But I feel like I have a lot of opinions about Rothko that I need to get off my chest on microphone.
He's kind of an asshole, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, if any artist deserves to have their work forged, Rothko would be the one. It's the classic artist that everyone says.
You want to hear something interesting?
Yeah.
I just heard yesterday, and supposedly this is a very legit thing, but I haven't done the research yet, so I'm going to say it like it's truth anyway.
Yeah, good.
Apparently it really is a real thing, though. That the CIA was involved in the sale, not so much the sale, but the hype of modern contemporary art, especially Rothko and Pollock. Like, that art was bought and sold by CIA. It was hyped up. It was promoted without these artists knowing it. Because of the Cold War with Russia, they started finding that American arts weren't as valued as much, and we wanted to influence foreign nations, particularly Russia, by making the things we produce become very important culturally around the world.
Wow.
So they would try to drive up prices on things or make things look really cool. So some of these artists directly benefited from CIA propaganda. It's very, very interesting. I heard somebody talk at length about it. I just haven't done much research on it myself.
It definitely merits some looking into. It's really easy to believe that.
The Independent says modern art was a CIA weapon. Was modern art a weapon of the CIA? By the BBC.
What hasn't the CIA weaponized?
Dude, they're basically, I heard somebody describe it as they didn't have the technology quite figured out to do the covert stuff they really wanted. So they had to come up with these zany, abstract ideas of how to, meet their goals, basically.
That's fucking wild.
It's wild. So I could be down for art theft. I do feel like it might be a little harder to research, but we could always do the art forgery as an entertainment one, as a doc. But
let's do art forgery next week. Let's do that. Yeah, I think you're right on the doing the research stuff. Rothko, I have a strong familiarity with a lot of his work anyway. That should make it easier.
Yeah. We were talking the one day, the only cool thing about Rothko's work is his museum or whatever. He did have things where they were meant to be viewed in particular orders at particular times in particular lights to create an emotional experience. And I find that interesting. I still think it's kind of garbage, but it's an interesting thought. So, I also want to do the digital art, NFTs, crypto art shit, but we'll maybe the week after that or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that will be interesting, but that'll take some deep dive. So, possibly art forgery would be our next. What about philosophy? You got some ideas?
So I was thinking about this. I think next cycle would be better for this, unless we wanted to make this could also be just part of a freestyle episode. Easter's coming up next month, so I was thinking about the real history of what Easter is as a celebration. I mean, it's that or the just the pagan shit with why rabbits and eggs are a part of the the part of the celebration of what is said to be the celebration of Christ's rebirth or Christ coming back, which is bullshit. But I think there's a lot to say about that, about the story, the history of that. But that might be better for April.
I agree.
See, we got oh fuck, I don't know. What's gonna be philosophy? I feel like I have these ideas and I don't write them down as much as I should. I know I think about this on a regular basis of things I would like, oh man, that would be great. Or
are you into Nietzsche much?
Who?
Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. Thus spoke Zarathustra.
It's not spelled the way it sounds, right? There's a Z in there somewhere.
People are always like Nietzsche. I believe it's Nietzsche.
I think I know who you're talking about. I might be confusing them with someone else. They are literally a philosopher.
Yeah, nihilist, the Übermensch. His work was corrupted. He's got some racy stuff, but his work was corrupted, and Hitler literally changed words of his books to validate the killing done by the Nazis. He was the one that came up with the phrase "God is dead," and is often said to have created nihilism. Although, what's his name we talked about kind of was the first nihilist.
Oh, our boy.
Barrel Boy.
Barrel Boy. Damn it, I can't think of his fucking name right now.
We'll remember. Nietzsche looks like a walrus.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I'd be down to talk about him. I definitely don't. I know of him, and I think I know exactly what you just told me was that his words were, or he was referenced by Hitler a lot.
Yeah. He was, but it's unfair, unfortunately.
Right. So it's not. Yeah, it's not like this. That's right out of his own shit. He wasn't spewing racist shit or whatever, or maybe he was.
If he was, it was all veiled, but he never openly spoke about race at all. So his books later, after the Nazis lost power, they had to be retranslated back to what the originals were thought to be. That's how bad it was. But they generally know what it's saying. But his big tenets are like, God is dead. We are our own God. Will is meaningful. You have to be a better version of yourself. Create, destroy, overcome. Nothing matters.
I'm down with considering that for a topic for sure.
I think he'd be fun to talk about at some point. I don't know.
I think it's also fair to us to leave, to come up with these ideas, but not staple it down, write it in stone because, we could get into it and we both have a lot going on. There might be some research that might need to push that until another cycle.
What other philosophy stuff?
I would like to say the man's name was Diogenes.
So
we'll put
Barrel
that out
Boy.
First. Barrel Boy. I should have just typed in Barrel Boy. I typed philosopher and barrel into Google, and that's what came up. Now I want to know what comes up when I type Barrel Boy.
I bet Bubble Boy pops up from Seinfeld.
Nope, it's a man with
that goes over Niagara Falls.
No, not even that cool. So it's a man with a, the old cartoony when they show someone that's broke or whatever, they just show a barrel with some suspender straps holding it on. Yeah. He's wearing that and a cowboy hat, and the barrel has a radio station logo on it. I assume is a country music radio station logo.
They're one of the the rodeo clowns. That's probably.
He doesn't look like a rodeo clown. He just looks like someone that goes to football games with this on.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good to look at.
What other big question stuff?
Yeah. Man,
I heard it.
Put me on the spot like this.
I heard it. This was your idea.
I know.
I heard a theory this week about black hole parallel universe stuff that reminded me of you.
Oh man, can we please talk about black hole stuff?
I'm down, but I feel like it's such a wide open one. I feel like I don't know what I'd say for long. But if you felt confident, I would.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. I can take hold of that one and run with it.
Have you watched His Dark Materials?
I'm sorry, one more time.
His Dark Materials, Golden
I have
Compass?
not.
Very worthwhile. They explore portals and black holes and the evil of religion. It's very good. It was my favorite book as a kid, and they finally made an HBO show of it that isn't bad.
That HBO shove it. That's my favorite Tony Hawk trick.
HBO shove it. Pop HBO shove it. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do black holes.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm writing these down.
I got lots of ideas and fun ideas and theories about black holes.
Okay. Entertainment. Do we want to brainstorm or visit? We'll figure it out later.
Entertainment. I like the entertainment. I like the movie things that we do.
I do too, but we do have, like, our art forgery might be heavy doc based.
Oh, you're right.
I feel like a switch 'em up could be good. Something maybe even more pop, modern bullshit. Something maybe we can trash a little more.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Which might take some brainstorming, but
yeah, we'll think about that. We'll find something we can talk shit on. We can.
Could that be our Easter? What week will that be?
That's a good question. By the time that drops,
2 weeks by now would be the 24th, and then it still would take 2 weeks. That's April.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Potentially.
We'll talk shit on Easter. We'll talk shit on the Catholics. One more again. We'll talk more.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything you want to touch on?
Nah. Although I think after we close this up, I'm gonna be playing some Star Fox because I got my N64 hooked up to my TV, and I've been wanting to say that.
Do a barrel roll, Fox.
It's still such a good game.
So good.
And it's you can play through the whole thing in 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Dude, do you know the band? No. I don't even know if it's a full band. Sidewalks and Skeletons?
Nope.
You know Crystal Castles?
Yes.
Crystal Castles is one of my favorite. I believe I saw them live before they really were Crystal Castles, but I've always been a huge fan of them. And then over the years, I started finding Sidewalks and Skeletons, where it's a similar kind of witch house, dark electro vibe, but very good. It's still different, but I like Sidewalks and Skeletons a lot. And they have like a purple vibe, and all their album covers are kind of like this like gothy, dark, like star and moon kind of vibe.
Nice.
And I've talked to that dude a couple of times, and I sent him that purple moon piece, like a couple days ago, and he's like, and because I've emailed him art to use before, and he was like, dude, let me get back to you. I might want this for my single cover.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, so cool. Like, they're a real, like, big following. But it's an interesting thing because I sent it to him, like, for free.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a conversation about, like, in my thought it was just social media, but I don't know if he means just like a single cover for the internet, or if this is a single cover for a record or an album that's getting printed. I got to find out, but it's a weird thing because it's like, you got to defend your work, protect your stuff, but it's also like, I'm a fan and I sent it to him.
You're right.
And it's like, if I didn't, he would have found something else. So I don't expect, like, I don't want to fight for money.
If someone did that to you, you would still be like, you would still try to offer.
Yeah. Like, in his position, I would not, and he would have to make an assumption and just use it without clarifying anything with me for me to be upset.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as there's a conversation. But I mean, it's such a compliment. I'm such a fan of the music. Even if I was offended, I think I'd still be humbled. It's a weird one, but I'm hoping they want to use it and then we talk, because that would be very cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I'll let you know what happens for show. Any dishonorables?
I have none this week.
that church of enemies burning off in the distance.
Yeah. Did I ask you what would you do in that situation?
I'm not sure, but I'm definitely lighting it. Like, dude, it's one of those things, like, if there's no consequences, like, I do have a fear of prison, and it's weird. Like, I know I could handle it now. In the past, I couldn't. I know I'd still be okay. I wouldn't let my lack of freedom totally dictate my choices, but I want to avoid it at all costs.
Oh,
but
yeah.
If situations like the church experiment, if there's no consequences, I'm burning it down every time.
Right.
I want to vanquish my enemies.
Right.
I want to drink wine out of the skulls of my foes.
How fucking ballin' would that be?
How many skulls must I crush?
How many people would buy photos of that for their death metal album?
Recently, a black metal musician in Sweden got in trouble for human skulls in his house that he was showing off with his band shit. Mm-hmm. And there was an investigation. They raided his home. They found out some of them were just bought, but they did find out he murdered 2 of the people, and then he went to prison. Because he was showing off all his skulls on album covers and shit.
Don't be showing off them skulls, dog.
You got to keep them. You got to build that shrine like Dahmer. Dude, have you seen his shrine?
No.
Dude, he had 7 skulls like painted to look like they were fake, but he had this whole altar shrine, and there really aren't many pictures that are worth the fuck, but that he drew diagrams of where everything was for the police to find what was real human bones, and it's pretty wild. Dahmer was an interesting, because he was one of the few that really was so fucked up. He was less in control than most. He just was that much of a maniac, trying to make sex zombies and shit.
Yeah, he was a fucko, man. He was one of the weird ones.
Real fucko. So we got that, we always can use people's advice or feedback in general, but especially for this entertainment episode, are you thinking?
I think in general, I'd like to open the idea for people to send us ideas if you have them.
Only if they're good.
Yeah, only if they're good, and it doesn't mean that we're going to use them.
Use your big brain.
Yeah, use that big brain. And it could be something that you think we'll enjoy, or something that you think we should talk shit on, and maybe we will talk shit on it. Maybe we'll like it, and you have bad taste. We don't know. But you can, send us something at trashcats@gmail.com.
Yeah, buddy.
That's trashcats@gmail.com. Make sure you check those S's and T's, because I fuck them up all the time.
So do I. Dude, so we're about to hit 200 plays. Big time in it. But the Trashcast group on my brother's app, dude, people are funny, bro. They're starting to post memes and shit. It's just a meme page. Like, I don't know how many people have listened to it, but shouts out to all those people on Plunk. And also shouts out to the Megans at Signed and Sealed. Thank you for asking about my fish. And I'm totally going to talk about what you guys do on one of these ones. So I appreciate you guys listening for sure.
Yeah. Thanks everyone again for listening. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thank John. I'm looking forward to hearing that track you're working on. That shit's gnarly, bro.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcast on Instagram for news and arts from the show. Yeah,
we're trying to post all the art. If you're super bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZICX. And definitely check out, don't miss these guys. They're so fucking good. Check out Little Plastic Cats and Fawnwood, and we'll have all their info too. They're just awesome.
Yeah. So tune in next week for our episode on maybe art forgery?
Possibly
art forgery.
That's going to be all for us today. Remember, stay classy, eat trashy. We'll see you next time.
Bye. we're looking at her like, oh, that's fucked up, yo. And she was like, yeah, someone needs to go in there and clean it. And I was like, it can't be us.
You touch the food.
Yeah, we handle food. We can't be in there cleaning poop out of a urinal, dude. Like, yeah. So we just looked back at her like fucking all shoulders. And she, I think she ended up doing it. Someone did it. But
I was really, really hoping you were going to say she just walked into the kitchen and took a poop. I was really hoping that's where it was going.
Just drop trowel and lay it down.
Dude, my art portfolio to this day, the first picture that comes up is a a picture of a poop I took behind someone's car, so that as soon as they leave for work in the morning, their tire would roll through my poop.